been a while since a religious person has made a rape reference, but thankfully there's someone here to make one, and we've got a clip of it.
If we were a product of evolution, a product of survival of the fittest, if there is no God, we're just here by random chaotic force, and we're just molecules in motion, if you will, how would that impact our life? And I found out that once I studied it, and I studied Darwin, I studied Dawkins, Hitchens, E.O. Wilson, some of the purveyors of evolutionary thought, and they led me to a very, very dark place, because you have to start asking questions. Well, if evolution is true and it's just all about the male propagating their DNA, well, what in the world is, we had to ask hard questions like, well, is rape wrong?
Is rape wrong? Let me just stop there. Yes, it is wrong.
I mean, the thing is that, of course, rape is wrong. Kind of humans have developed a moral kind of consciousness that other animals haven't fully evolved yet. One could then make the argument that some form of the kind of apes have maybe developed some form of moral consciousness. But the fact is, rape occurs in the animal kingdom, nearly everywhere that you look. It's a naturally occurring thing. I mean, if it's a naturally occurring thing, then God intended that rape to happen in the natural world. It's just an absolutely nonsensical argument. I mean, I always get the sense that maybe he's done something in the past that he'd like to find some justification towards. I'm not saying anything, but it's it's another attempt, a feeble attempt by them to try and say, oh, look at the evil atheists, the secularists. Oh, they're teaching this evolution in school. It's going to make your kids grow up to be rapists. It's exasperating that you have to keep on fighting these people, and people will hear this TV program, or online program, kind of the 6 people who watch it, which are probably just their family members, and actually believe that, oh yeah, of course evolution teaches kind of that rape is okay. No, it doesn't. He's saying that he's studied Dawkins and Darwin, and no, he hasn't. And Hitchens didn't even have anything to do with the scientific study of evolution, so I don't know why he's trying to drag his name into this debate as well. It's just pure idiocy.
Can answer that, Stephen. It's because these people conflate evolution and atheism as the one and the same thing, and that every scientist is an atheist, or every atheist is some sort of scientist, or believes as a faith evolutionary principles and theories, because these people seem to find it impossible to live in a world without some sort of faith as they perceive and define it, even though faith is used colloquially simply as in numerous other cases. At any rate, no, this is hilariously silly. This notion that, because I don't even think it's. I mean, part of it is definitely because they think they get their morals from God, which is silly, because I'm not an objective. I don't believe in objective moral standards. I think moral standards are very subjective. And yeah, rape is wrong for the very particular reason that you're violating someone else's choice, and we as a society have deemed that very wrong, for the very good reason that if it happened to us, we wouldn't like it. It's the same reason we deem slavery wrong. Even though those people who will look back and defend, oh, slavery was okay, they were benevolent people. Yeah, there's one group of people who, if you asked if slavery was right or wrong, they probably say it's wrong, and that's probably the slaves. So this is kind of what happens when you actually look at these things. Is it's just so funny. It's just I don't even know words for this kind of crap. All I can say is I'm wondering if Eric Holbein will someday wind up in jail for tax evasion like his daddy did, and if that happens, maybe you should have evolved a little more, Eric.
For me, I think it's a gross misunderstanding of what evolutionary theory actually is. I mean, of course, it's a mischaracterization, and it's also an attempt to say that atheists don't have morals. What do you think, Jordan?
Well, okay, so one, he clearly doesn't understand what evolution is, because he's saying, okay, well, evolution is all about the propagation of the species. I don't know, it's about traits that help a species sustain successful numbers. anyone who hunts knows that if a species overpropagates, it dies. So even if you want to meet him where he's at with his horrible understanding of evolution and morals, he's still wrong. But then the other thing here, and I've been following the comments, somebody has said it here as well. I'll read the comment here. He's asking a valid question. Scientifically, rape isn't wrong. The majority of animals impregnate each other through rape, which is a nonsensical statement because scientifically, nothing is right or wrong. Science does not determine what is right or wrong. Nick kind of hit on this without fleshing it out. That is a question that society determines. Now, we may let science inform that, but science does not make statements about morality. Science makes statements about the way things happen. The fact that because of science, we know that if you put somebody in prison for life, the majority of their cells in their body aren't the same cells they had when you put them in prison. That's not science making a statement about whether or not it's okay to keep someone in prison because they're, percentage-wise, they're more of a different person on a cellular level than they used to be. That's a completely, it's not related to that at all. That's something society gets together and says, we believe that some crimes warrant, life in prison or a long prison sentence. To Nick's example about slavery, like if there was some scientific bombshell that determined that white people had something in them that made them genetically inferior to Asian people or black people, that wouldn't be a statement about the value of white people or any other race of people, because we as a society have gotten together and said that people are all inherently valuable because they're people. Again, so this whole notion that this guy has a point or that this isn't even an issue that could be addressed, despite the fact, we can talk all day about how poor his understanding of evolution is. It doesn't matter because science does not make statements about right and wrong.
Yeah, and I mean, just to kind of hammer home the point about kind of his, he's saying that, I've read Dawkins and I've read Darwin and stuff. He says if evolution is mainly about the man propagating his DNA, well, it's not. It's about survival of the species. And it turns out that as human society kind of progressed, we found out it doesn't help if you go around raping everyone, because then people get angry at you and then people will kill you. They don't like that. So that doesn't help the species survive. He just doesn't even have the slightest grasp about what he's talking about. It's just sad that these guys think that they're smart when they're just clearly not.
Well, here's the other thing too. I mean, for the most part, evolution at its base is a very simple concept. Species are plastic to the environment. That is it. A species will change itself to fit the environment in which it's currently surviving, or it will die off. That is it. There's nothing about morals there. There's nothing about sexuality there. There's nothing about even reproduction there. The obvious given is the belief that reproduction is a thing and that it sorts itself out. This is about evolution more deals with the nature of survival in the environment. So this notion of rape doesn't even factor into it, or how that would even come to play. So he's, by even introducing the concept of rape into any even rough concept of evolution, is the most hilariously stupid and nonsensical thing ever, because it doesn't have any place in evolution.
Right, and one of those points is that, Darwin's natural selection, right? This guy thinks that natural selection is based on physical strength. Remember, he said the strongest man survives, right? So he can go and take anything that he wanted, any woman that he wanted, and then he could impregnate her. Well, that's not how it works either. It's not based on physical strength like this dude thinks, right? It's based on, different factors. Our society, money, right? And that would be one of the things. Like, if we're talking about our modern society, one of the things that is sort of a thing of that sets you up for success, sets your children up for success, is money, right? And success. And there's also factors like immunity and how smart you are, etc., that allow you to propagate your genes, right? Now, this guy is literally stuck in the mindset of, cavemen. I club a girl and then drag her back to the cave, and that's how it works. And that's what atheists believe. But that's not how it goes. Natural selection is how the strongest genes and not the strongest men pass out in those genes.
Jeff, I have to cut you off right there, Jeff, because it's not fair for you to disparage cavemen when Sean's not here to defend himself.
So,
Oh, hashtag blame Sean.
Hashtag blame
thing
Sean.
as well, just piggybacking off of that, is that if, as we're saying, it's not strength that determines kind of who's the most successful or which gene pools are going to survive these days in terms of Homo sapiens. And if it is intelligence, then this Isaac's guy, his family tree is not going to be growing for much longer because he's dumb as a brick.